Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you. We haven't done one of these in a while. I'm Jeannie Walters. This is Friday, which means it's an Experience Investigators LinkedIn Live. We haven't done these in a few Fridays, so we're happy to see you here. Today, we're talking about customer experience that drives decisions, frameworks for real results. This is something we hear about all the time from the leaders we talk about. How do we prove our value? How do we make sure that we are getting the results that our organizations need? That's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, we are interested in your questions, your feedback, your comments. So feel free to drop in, leave us comments, questions, whatever you need. As always, I'm here with Paige from my team. Paige, how are you?
I am doing good. It's getting sunshiny here in Kansas City, so I'm a happy girl today.
Excellent. Well, we are above freezing in Chicago. So I don't want to brag, but that's
Woo.
the kind of weather we're having today, which is the first time in many, many days we've been above freezing. So we are pretty excited. And next week we're supposed to hit 40, I think, on a certain day. So
Ooh, grab your shorts.
seriously, you're not kidding. We will see shorts. So we've had so much going on at Experience Investigators. It feels like 2026 has started like a rocket, I keep saying, but very exciting. We're going to see some folks in the next few weeks at different conferences, and we've had some corporate events, traveling, all sorts of things. So we love working with all of our clients, and we're doing a lot of that right now. So it's off to a good year.
Yeah, it's been a really, really great start. And if you guys are going to be at any of these upcoming conferences, if y'all are going through the conference circuit as well, drop it in the chat. We'd love to see where you guys are going to be headed and maybe even say hi if we're at the same conferences.
That's right. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our newsletter, The Weekly Win, we're sharing kind of where we are in the world. And so it's fun because sometimes people come up and say, "Oh, I heard you were going to be here. So I made it a point to come say hi." So we love meeting you IRL or in the wild, as they say. Well, let's dive in today. We hope you have questions. Let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know how your weather is. Let us know what conferences you will be attending. And let's go ahead and dive into this topic because it's a meaty one. Paige, we'll see you later and join us when we get to that Q&A portion of the event. So let's talk about this. We are talking about customer experience that drives decisions. One of the things I hear about when we're talking to different leaders, when we are working alongside our clients, when I'm keynoting, is everybody kind of theoretically understands that customer experience is good for the business. We understand that happy customers will bring more business to us, they will stay longer, all of those things. But if it stays in theory, it's hard to get the resources, the funding, the buy-in that we need in order to really do this well. So the only way we can make customer experience a winning business strategy, which it is, we need to actually make sure that we have the right tools, that we have the right processes, people, tools, technology, and that all of that is driving an actual return on those investments. We have to make sure that we are explaining what we're doing in a certain way to get resources. And it also helps us as customer experience leaders really hold ourselves accountable. Are we making the progress that we think? Are we succeeding in the way that matters most? So, for those of you I don't know, my name is Jeannie Walters. I'm so glad you're here. I am founder and CEO of a company called Experience Investigators. And for more than 20 years, I've had one mission, which is to create fewer ruined days for customers. And that is our mission because we believe it makes a better world. And you being here today, this is part of our mission to empower leaders like you. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this. And thank you for all the work you do because you are clearly a leader who cares about customer experience. And if you are one of those leaders that cares about customer experience, I hope you will check out my new book, which is coming out in April. This book is all about the foundations of success around customer experience. And it is not just for people with experience in their title, it is for chief marketing officers, VPs, if you're running a contact center, or if you have a small business. This is really about setting up your foundation of success to run customer experience in your organization as a winning business strategy. And we do this by discussing how to align the right mindset, strategy, and discipline to really execute on that plan. So Experience is Everything is available wherever you pre-order your books. If you use this QR code, you can also see some of the fun pre-order bonuses that we have for you as you go through. We have an exclusive book club with me. We have some other fun perks. So check that all out. And then if I see you at any of the conferences, we might have swag for you. We have some bookmarks and stickers and things like that. I can even sign a book plate for you that you can put into your book when it arrives where you are. So flag us down, let us know that you've ordered a book, and we will go ahead and swag you up. So can't wait to see you at these upcoming events. So let's talk about this. When we are in a position where we are designing an initiative of some sort of customer experience initiative, we are looking to create a program. We're looking to maybe do a little more investigative work around customers so we can get to know them better. We can find out what they're really looking for. All of these different things. Maybe we have a cultural initiative. We want to make sure that we're communicating in a certain way across our organization to build that cross-functional collaboration that we need. So when we talk about these things, when we are pitching these ideas, we need to make sure that we are positioning everything into the language of revenue, retention, and reduced cost. Now, for those of you who have been following and collaborating with me for a while, you know we talk about this a lot. We talk about this a lot because it is that important. I have seen too many customer experience leaders and teams, whether or not they have customer experience in their title, but teams who care about the customer experience, who are trying to make improvements, I have seen them not taken seriously because they aren't using this type of language. They are making customer experience improvements seem like a nice to have, seem like something that, yeah, in general, it'll help us, but it stays theoretical. So it's easy to get lost in both theory and metrics when isolating how individual activities contribute to business results. So sometimes we are too theoretical. Sometimes we are too metric centric. So we're only talking about measurements. We're not talking about outcomes. So when we discuss these things, we really need to present it as a strategic leader. So everybody here, I want you to think about yourself as a strategic leader, because metrics in isolation do not prove value. When we rely too heavily on lagging indicators, when we can't clearly connect leading indicators to outcomes, when we present wins and we're very happy about it without explaining why that matters to the business, that kind of discredits us. That does not show how important a customer experience business strategy really is and why we need to do more around that. Now, just as a point of clarification, lagging indicators reflect what's already happened. Leading indicators predict what's coming. We spend a lot of time with lagging indicators in customer experience. And I did write an article about this in the last few weeks, so you can check that out at experienceinvestigators.com. Go to our learning center, you can find that article. But essentially, what we want to do is provide a mix. Of course, we want to look at what happened and track that way. But we also want to look at what could happen and how we can actually have a positive influence on the outcomes that we're trying to achieve. So this is what we call the CX value framework. It's really action, indicator, outcome equals ROI. That's how you get to this explanation. So we're going to break this down kind of at a very high level today. If you want more information, I encourage you to go to our website at experienceinvestigators.com and learn more about this and other ways to think strategically about customer experience. But essentially, when we say action, that's really the customer experience initiative that we're pitching or trying to get resources around. That could be something like, we really believe streamlining onboarding is an improvement customers want. or we want to redesign our support portal to be even more helpful and efficient for our customers. So that's the type of program or initiative that we're talking about. And then we want to look at a leading indicator. We want to think about what is the signal that will tell us the change is happening. So there are a couple of different ways to think about this. One is customer effort score could be a leading indicator. Are people telling you that that things are becoming easier? You have to look very carefully and you have to look early in that process. It could also be things like conversion rates or journey completion or sentiment trends. There are certain things that start telling you before the big data shows up. You want to start identifying before you even start, what are those leading indicators we should be looking at to make sure that we are really moving forward in the right way. And then, of course, we have lagging indicators. These are a measurable outcome. So this is something like, what is our retention rate reflecting? Is it improving? Are we upselling more? Are we able to get a cost reduction through cost of service or reduced refunds or reduced service calls? There are all sorts of things that we can look at and say, okay, if our baseline is here, what happened last month? What happened last quarter? What happened last year? That we can see those indicators, those trends. And then we want to think about, what is the real ROI impact? When we say ROI, we're talking, of course, about return on investment. So if I'm a CEO and I see we're investing how much in customer experience, what does that really mean? What does that do for me? That's what we want to look at. We want to look at a dollar value or business result tied to that improvement. So if we improve the support portal for our organization, how will that impact the real goals of the organization? Will we be able to have customers stay longer, spend more with us? Are we able to improve the average purchase rate? All sorts of ways to really look at that, but we need to tie that to real business results. So here's an example. If we put this all together and think about, okay, let's say we did that, and then we came back and we were reporting on results, this is what it might look like. We might say we simplified onboarding. That's the action we talked about, which improved CES, customer effort score, by 24%. That's the leading indicator. And 18% higher 16-day retention. That's lagging. And protected $2.1 million in recurring revenue. Now, excuse me, how do we get to that number? That's through extrapolation of, okay, if we were able to improve retention through making an easier process, then we know that by retaining that much more, this is the actual revenue that we protected. So we have to think strategically about all of that, not just about customer experience, but about what it will do for the organization. So here's a quick case study, right? We wanted to reduce churn in software as a service. So the problem is 30% of customers dropped off within 60 days. Not ideal. Also not uncommon if you are familiar with software as a service. Let's say they just didn't get the use out of it. So the action was, we wanted to simplify onboarding emails and added in-app guidance. Now, when we look at onboarding emails and in-app guidance, this was because we were able to see, okay, people aren't using these as effectively. We're hearing things are not explained when they are explained. So you have to look at the different signals that your feedback, that their actions are telling you to really come up with, what is the action we want to take? And then we had that leading indicator. What can we do? Well, we can look at customer effort score and see if we can make a positive impact there quickly. The lagging indicator, well, let's look at retention rates for those 60 days. Let's make sure that we improve exactly the problem that we identified in the first place. And then we break that down into, okay, what will this do for the overall organization? That is so important. You can extrapolate from your data certain predictions, certain indicators, certain signals. That's what you want to do, is really look for those things so that when you're presenting this, you're not just saying things like, well, we improved onboarding emails and we added in-app guidance and customers really seem to like it. Your leaders will turn off. They will literally just, think this doesn't really matter, or why did we spend so much money on this? This is the language we need to speak. This is the framework to make sure that you're covering all your bases. And then, of course, we want to avoid certain pitfalls. I see these all the time. I've seen so many teams get up there at their executive briefings and say, guess what? Our net promoter score is holding steady, or we have made a small improvement. And they get very celebratory about that. Now, is that important? Absolutely. But that is one part of the puzzle. We cannot just in isolation celebrate those feedback metrics, because they aren't actually moving the needle unless we show it's moving the needle. So we want to make sure that we're not just celebrating those things in isolation. We also we don't want to overestimate the effect of CX efforts. This is one of the reasons we have in all of our frameworks, all of our tools for you. When we talk about developing a success blueprint, when we talk about SMERC goals for customer experience leaders, we want you to be realistic. I have seen so many organizations who paint this amazing picture, this vision of what they will be able to do by switching a button on the website from blue to green. They think it's going to make this amazing impact. Be realistic about what you're doing. Be realistic about the indicators that will show your progress, because sometimes, you know what, 0.01% improvement is still improvement. Be honest about that. All of those little things add up. You've heard me talk about how micro moments in the customer journey either build or erode trust. So if you can prove we have built trust with this micro moment, that is still valuable, but you have to show that. You have to make sure that you're realistic about it. Don't overestimate what will happen, because then you're just setting yourself up to report on, oh, we didn't meet that goal that we had. We also want to really make sure we are tying these metrics to cost or revenue. Every single organization in the world has two main goals, and that is to gain more revenue and to reduce expenses. So if you can tie what you're doing to one of those goals, that will make your leaders happy. That will show your ROI. So if you're not sure about how you're improving revenue generation, look for how are you decreasing the cost of service? How are you improving something so that people don't have to call in, so that you don't have to roll out a truck for a repair, so you don't have to refund somebody who was confused about their subscription? All of those things, that's what we're talking about. Look for ways that your efforts are reducing expenses for your organization as well. And then the other thing is, we love to focus on growth when we're building businesses. We love to focus on customer acquisition and making sure that we're getting more customers in the door. But if we are doing that at the cost, at the expense of the customers we have, we are really not serving the goals of customer experience strategy. So make sure that you are balancing. Okay, not only are we doing well with our customers, they are spending more with us, they are staying longer with us, they are referring customers. And by referring customers, we are lowering the cost of customer acquisition. So yes, we're helping get more customers, because a lot of organizations, that's all they want to hear about is the growth. So you can make a case for that, but you have to make sure you don't do that at the expense of the customers that you already have. And then we want to build a business case that gets that buy-in. So we want to map CX initiatives to financial impact. We want to forecast outcomes using credible data. We want to align what leaders care about. So knowing that, when you think about what is it that we can do, when you start talking in words like, okay, we're going to reduce customer churn, take that a step further. What will that do? That will protect recurring revenue. We want to improve the digital journey. Well, what will that do? That will reduce call center costs and the cost of service. We want to increase customer satisfaction. Great. We're looking for that to drive referrals and repeat business. So you really need to take that next step after you create the mission, the goal, the project that you are looking to do. And then you want to forecast outcomes based on that credible data. So use benchmarks, pilot results, or scenario modeling. There are all sorts of ways to do this. If you want to, team up with your financial team and say, you know what, I'm trying to figure out what is the cost of acquiring a customer? What is the cost of losing a customer? They can help you with some of those models. So then you can use that data to move forward and understand the real results that you're trying to achieve. And be a little conservative here, folks. We don't want to overpromise. I know you know this because customer experience is the same. We don't want to overpromise. What we want to do is kind of underpromise and overdeliver, right? So we want to make sure that the promises that we make, we can actually achieve. So it's really important to be real, do some gut checks, do some credibility checks, and make sure that, you know what, is this realistic within a 6-month, 12-month, whatever time period? And be realistic about that. And then if you need to, lower that outcome a little bit that you're predicting so that then you can show this is what we actually achieved. And then we want to align with what leaders care about. Your leaders speak a certain language. They want to know about return on investment. They want to know about profit margins. They want to know about risk. They want to know about growth. So see how much you can tie to those ideas. See if you can make a case for, you know what, if we do this well, it will help our growth strategy and you'll see this ROI. That's the language your leaders want to hear from you. So tie initiatives to those strategic goals. Maybe you have a goal of expanding in the market. Maybe you have a cost control goal. Maybe you have simply a retention goal. Whatever that is that your executives are talking about every day, that's how you want to position this. So to secure investment and grow your impact, CX teams must prove value and not just activity. So if you are doing reports about how many surveys you're sending out, that is not actually an outcome, that's just activity. So make sure that you are actually focusing on what your leadership cares about and you are showing up as that strategic leader I know you can be. So ask yourself these questions. Can I link this CX action to a business outcome? If the answer is no, you have a little more work to do. Do I have both leading and lagging indicators? Can I show projected impact in dollars, in currency, in, you know what, these are the real results that your CEO and CFO are going to care about? Is this solving a business problem, not just a customer pain point? Now, do we want to solve customer pain points? Absolutely. But none of that matters if we can't get our leaders to understand that this is an organizational win. This is something that everybody will win. So we have a tool on our site for your customer lifetime value and key metrics calculator. You can go ahead and check that out at the link here, which is bit.ly/CLV metrics. So we have resources where you can punch in, you can try a few things, you can predict certain things, you can try different numbers and see what works. And that way you can build your case in the right way. So at this point, I would love to hear some questions, hear what folks are asking. This is one of those topics that's like a big, huge topic, and we don't have a lot of time.
Yes. I was just looking at our great questions thinking that exact thing. So we had a couple people email in some questions. And one of them is, how do you balance leading versus lagging indicators in a way that doesn't overwhelm our team with too much data?
Yeah, good question. I think the key here is you have to make sure you are measuring the things that have most impact on those bigger goals that we talked about. So we want to make sure that we are looking at the leading indicators and the lagging indicators that will most prop up whatever outcome it is you're trying to achieve. And I would be very discerning about that. We don't need 10 of everything. We can, once you kind of figure out, okay, if we measure these two things over here and this one over here, that will give us a pretty good idea. So really be strategic about understanding which ones will support the outcomes you're most trying to achieve. And that's why we always come back to organizational outcomes. What are your goals? What do your leaders care about? If you are presenting to your CFO, those might be different indicators than if you're presenting to your chief marketing officer. So think about their perspective as well. And our CX blueprint, CX Success Blueprint. That's a great tool to help you think through all of this as well. You can find that on our site.
I'll drop it in the chat too for those that are curious and want it right now. Speaking of thinking in people's roles and just taking into account your organization and how CX kind of lines up, how do you handle skepticism from finance teams when projecting future CX impact?
My best advice at this is include them. Actually collaborate with them and say, you know what, we want to know these things, and they might know. And if they don't know, they're the ones who can help you figure it out. If you don't have access like that, then focus on what you do have access to. I know some organizations, they just don't have the data that they need to really figure this out. So what we do is we look at benchmarks, we look at industry things, we look at, you know what would happen if we, let's just extrapolate, like what would happen if we had 1% higher retention, right? In some organizations, that can be millions of dollars. So that's the type of thinking we need to apply to this to make sure that we're not just talking about kind of the high level theory, and we're really getting into this is what it will do for the organization. The other thing to look at is that the other side of that coin, how you can save, how you can reduce cost long term as well. And one of the best ways to look at this is cost of service. If you don't know the cost of service, it's a great place to start. You can also look at things like, okay, if we were to reduce the number of refunds that we have to send because of something, that would save X amount of dollars. That's the type of extrapolation sometimes that we need to do. We can't always be 100% accurate. So these are predictions. So that's why I always say, like, be conservative, because we don't know exactly what the impact will be all the time. But if you can work with your financial team, that's where you start. Because once you engage with them, I mean, I know we sometimes financial folks get a bad rap. They are sometimes super creative people who love to figure this stuff out. So if you invite them into that conversation and say, you know what, I'm trying to put together this ROI perspective, and I really would love your help on this, they are eager and willing to help. And they have the right data, and they have the right minds, and they have the right tools to put that together for you. So once you have those numbers, everything else gets a little easier.
Finance people are some of my favorite people. They truly are.
Great.
In my many years of corporate and other types of work, they're so smart, and you're right, they're so creative, and they're like, let's try this. And they're very excited to help. So I think
absolutely. Yeah.
You should bring them in. They're good people.
I know. They are. They are. And frankly, like, they're the ones who understand if we do this well, everybody wins. Right? Like, they see the vision of the financial long-term plan and understand that, like, hey, this could help all of us achieve our goals as an organization. So yeah, get your finance people on board. They're great people. Shout out to our finance people.
Go finance people. We love you.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting close to time here. So if you guys are interested in more content like this, I would highly recommend checking out our CXI membership. We host webinars all the time. We have co-working sessions where we all come together and just get some work done. It puts an hour on your calendar to carve out that time. We talk a lot about how we really need to be intentional with what we're doing. And sometimes you can just be jumping from meeting to meeting to meeting. So it's nice to have a meeting that is specifically about getting something done. And bonus, in those, you get a little 5-minute breakout with Jeannie to talk about strategy and to help push that action forward. So if you have any questions about that, you can go to cximembership.com or just email me, paige@experienceinvestigators.com.
Yep. And then once a quarter, we have a one-on-one strategy session as well with our members. So there is a lot of value there. So if you are interested at all, check that out. Email Paige. We can fill you in on all these good things. And then, of course, if you have more questions, Experience Action. For those of you who have not listened to this, it's like an old time call-in radio show. And so we answer voicemails. So if you have a burning question for me, go ahead and leave it at askjeannie.vip. If you're shy and you want our team to record it for you, there's an option where you can type it in as well. But we love hearing from you. So please leave your questions there. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do that. And if you love it, we love reviews. So all these things around the podcast. And then a reminder, the book is coming out. We would love to talk to you. If you have a team that you want us to talk to about, doing special book events, we're doing a lot of that right now. Go ahead and reach out. And we're really excited. This is going to be a fun one. So we hope to see you as we go through the conference circuit in the next few weeks. We are definitely in that season. Let us know where we can find you. And if you see us there, please flag us down. Let us know what you like. Sometimes people will flag me down and say, oh my gosh, I've been listening to your podcast. And, that's the only way they know me. And that's great. And we have a great conversation about the podcast. And then I'm like, we've got all this stuff. And they suddenly have all these resources they didn't even know were there. So like I said, the mission of our company is to create fewer ruined days for customers. And we do that through empowering leaders like you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all the work you do every single day on behalf of your customers and on behalf of your organizational goals. We have a lot of empathy and love for you because we know that this job is hard. So if you need that support, reach out. We're here for you. Thanks for being here, everybody. And we hope to see you again soon. Thanks.